Hey Canucks fans, how do you know that hockey season is just around the corner? Well, multiple vlogs and at least one of them from my car. Want to talk about the lines and the d-pairings. I spoke earlier this morning about the 13 roster moves, roster cuts that the Canucks made to try and pare down their roster to get to a manageable number, and they got to declare their roster by Monday, October the 7th, in advance of their home opener on Wednesday, October the 9th. Well, today at practice, we got a look into what Rick Tocchet might be thinking for opening night. And of course, we got some news cleared up, the rumors around JT Miller's absence. So we'll get to that in a second. But let's talk about what we saw on the ice first. So no surprise in the top six. It was JT Miller with Brock Boeser and Danton Heinen as the top line. And then Elias Pettersson with Jake DeBrusk and Daniel Sprong as the second line. Then you had Teddy Blueger between Garland and Hoglander. That was a spot that Aatu Räty has been skating in for the preseason. But you had Blueger making his first return back to the lineup. Blueger between Garland and Hoglander on the third line. And then a fourth line of Niels Aman between Arshdeep Bains and Kiefer Sherwood. So Aatu Räty was actually the 13th forward at practice, and Pius Suter was missing. I'll get to that in a second. So Raty was the 13th forward. Suter was forward number 14, who wasn't there. And no Phil DiGiuseppe, who was one of the guys put on waivers, as I spoke about earlier. On D, the exact 8 guys that you thought it would be. Hughes and Hronek, Susie Myers, Forbert Desharnais, and then an extra pairing of Friedman and Juleson, 2 right-handers. And then on D, still on the roster, but not participating, was Akito Hirose. And then, of course, your 2 goalies are Shilovs and Lankinen. Now, when it comes to the 2 guys that were not there, Pius Suter, you remember in last night's game against Edmonton, he was got into at least one, if not 2, at least one big scrum where everyone was mad at him, including Draisaitl. Well, apparently he got a bit banged up either during that scrum or right before it or after it. I don't know. But he was not at practice today, was given the day off. So hopefully that's just a day-to-day thing and that Suter is back in time for Friday, the last preseason game. And then Akito Hirose apparently suffered a big hit or went into concussion protocol after Saturday night's game against Calgary. So not sure where he is at in his recovery. Apparently he's making progress. I don't know what that means though in terms of the big scheme of things. So Akito Hirose missing from the blue line, and then Pius Suter missing from the forward group. So earlier today I was talking about if with Phil DiGiuseppe being sent down, that means one of, and with Dakota Joshua out, that means one of Arshdeep Bains, Aatu Räty, or Niels Aman will be on the opening night roster playing on October 9. But if one of, I said if Blueger is out too, because I didn't know his status, then that would mean 2 of those 3 guys, Bains, Räty, or Aman would make it. And it turns out today it was actually Aman and Bains playing in the top 12 with Räty being the extra, but it wasn't Blueger that was out. It was Suter that was out. So let's presume that Suter and Blueger are okay, especially for the start of the regular season. Who cares about this? Well, I care about this Friday, but it's not as important. But for the start of the regular season next Wednesday, then the way they lined up today, you probably just put Suter into Aman's spot on the 4th line between Sherwood and Bains, and then you have Blueger up between Garland and Hoglander. Of course, you could put Suter between Garland and Hoglander, put Blueger between Sherwood and Bains, or you could put Räty between Garland and Hoglander as they played. And as I said, put Blueger and Suter together on the 4th line with Sherwood, and then that bumps Arshdeep Bains out. Regardless, now you can kind of see what they're thinking. No surprises on top 6. No surprises on the power play either, in that it was Jake DeBrusk joining the almighty power play 1. So Boeser in front of the net, Hughes at the point, DeBrusk in the bumper with Miller on one side and Petey on the other. And that is your first power play unit. Now, JT Miller, the biggest mystery. So after the whole Thatcher Demko, Kevin Lankinen story saga, I guess the next biggest story that was kind of starting to make its rounds around Canucks Twitter, conspiracy theories abounding, was where was JT Miller? Is it that he basically told Rick Tocchet he only wants to play 1 preseason game? But heck, Boeser and Pettersson and DeBrusk and Hughes, they've only played 1 game so far. There'll be 2 by the end of the preseason. But Miller not yet to see preseason action. And the story was he was fine and it was because there's so many other young guys battling for spots. JT Miller doesn't have to play, and that he came to camp in incredible shape and all this kind of stuff. And I believe the Canucks. I really did. And I said this on a couple of my streams this week. And maybe I was glass too half full, like overflowing, or my rose-colored glasses were simply so rose that they were red, because it turns out today that JT Miller admitted that he was dealing with something. I don't know what the something was. I don't know if it was something something, if it was big something, small something, but he was dealing with something, and he pledges. That was the word that Jeff Patterson used. JT Miller pledges. Every time I think he pledges, I think I'm collecting money, but he pledges that he's going to play this Friday in the final preseason game. And the schedule, chemistry be darned, the schedule actually works out in JT Miller's favor if he is indeed dealing with something, a nagging something, a new something, because really it's only the preseason game, final preseason game on Friday, and then another 4-day gap, and then the regular season starts on Wednesday. So really, between now and next Wednesday, October the 9th, there's only one game in there, the exhibition game. So if you're someone like JT Miller who's trying to get rid of a nagging or a small little tweak of some sort, this is a perfect schedule for him. So let's see if he does indeed get into the lineup on Friday. I presume so. You got to play at least one preseason game, right? Just to feel confident about your game and that you still know how to. I know he still knows how to skate. So some tidbits that came from Canucks practice today: no Suter, no Hirose. Defense was the same 4 pairings that we expect. Offense, the same top 2 lines that we'd expect, but it was Bluger between Garland and Hoglander, which looks like to be the new 3rd line in Joshua's absence. And then it was no Suter because he was out. It was Niels Aman between Kiefer Sherwood and Arshdeep Bains. So Bains getting the call ahead, technically of Aatu Ratu, who was the extra forward. And then to me, Niels Aman is a placeholder for Suter. And to me, Suter and Bluger are interchangeable. So expect to see one of Bluger or Suter between Garland and Hoglander, and one of Bluger and Suter between Sherwood and Bains, if that's indeed the way they go. So Canucks fans, let me know your reaction to these lines, to these d-pairings, to the fact that it's Bains taking a regular line rush on the 4th line as opposed to Aatu Ratu centering one of the 2 lines, the fact that it was Niels Aman over Aatu Ratu, and the fact that it was Jake DeBrusk on the power play 1, and the fact that JT Miller admitted that he was dealing with a little something. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts, your reaction to any of those tidbits. Don't forget, tonight I have my live stream at 11 p.m. I hope you'll join me. And as always, thanks to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Coach Patrick Liu, weight loss coach. Thank you to legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. Subscribe, like, donate, become a member, upgrade your membership, and leave a comment down below your thoughts on these practice combinations. Hope to see you tonight at 11 p.m. for my regular live stream. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.